Breaking in the last hour, new charges against accused political assassin Vance Belter. The Hennepin County attorney announced a state grand jury indicted Belter on 2 counts of first-degree murder. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Joe McCoy, live in Minneapolis. Joe?
Well, Julie, Vance Belter is now facing 8 new charges in state court. 2 of those charges are for first-degree murder for the assassination of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. Belter is also facing 4 attempted first-degree murder charges. Now, these are charges that Belter would face after his federal case is finished. 3 of those attempted first-degree murder charges are for trying to kill Senator John Hoffman, his wife Yvette, and their daughter Hope. The 4th one is regarding Representative Christian Boehner. We learned previously from federal authorities that Belter had stopped by Boehner's home as well the morning he allegedly committed these crimes and rang her doorbell saying he was police. Fortunately, Boehner was not home. The final 2 charges are impersonating a police officer and felony cruelty to an animal for shooting the Hortman's dog, Gilbert. Here's Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty on why she feels it's important to continue this case in state court, even if Belter is convicted federally.
It's very important to us because these are members of our community here in Hennepin County. These were people who were public servants who represent us. And we feel it's important to hold Belter accountable for what he did in this county.
Moriarty also said Belter would have no chance of being federally pardoned if he is convicted in state court. She did say, though, that there's no indication that President Trump would want to pardon Vance Belter if he is convicted. If Belter is convicted in state court for one of these first-degree murder charges, he would automatically be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Julie.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe. Joining me now for some context on all of this is Lou Raguse, who has been covering this case, of course, from the very beginning. Lou.
Yeah, and Julie, you could call these new charges a placeholder because it could be years before Vance Belter ever sets foot in a Hennepin County courtroom. But the charges also add accountability for actions that were not included in the federal charges. For example, the charge of animal cruelty for shooting the Hortman's dog, Gilbert. Just another aspect of this case that outraged and saddened so many people. And the charge of attempted first-degree murder regarding Representative Kristen Bonner of Maple Grove. We've already seen that horrifying image of the masked gunman ringing Bonner's door, her Ring doorbell. Thankfully, her family was on vacation and not home, but Belter is still charged, Moriarty says, because he spelled out his premeditation and intention to kill Bonner in his writings, and then he carried out steps toward that goal. Now, the next big question to be answered is whether Belter will face the possibility of the death penalty in federal court, and then whether he takes that case all the way to trial. These Hennepin County charges handed up from a grand jury cover the basis for after the federal case is done.
And we don't know, as you mentioned, about the death penalty in that case. If he doesn't get the death penalty and is convicted, it would be a life sentence, correct?
Right.
So these state charges would just add on, if he's convicted on the state level, another life sentence on top of those charges.
Exactly, and he likely would remain in a federal prison if that's where he is at that time. And I think it's, Moriarty today said that he would have to come back to face these charges. I've heard some conflicting information on that from other sources, so I think it remains to be seen, and it is years away from right now anyway. But if he's fully convicted, especially if he's on death row, I mean, I would say it's not for certain that he comes back.
And just a real quick point, because we're out of time, but it's your understanding that the family is also behind these state charges.
Yeah, the families have met with Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty and her staff, and they've indicated that they want him held accountable for this stuff.
All right. Thank you, Lou.